It's Thursday. Dr. Scott is back in the house. Scott, you help as the Wellness Director for the Phil Long Dealerships. We're continuing our stress talk. Last week we talked about stress, different types of stress, good and bad stress. Today we're talking about how to cope with that, right? Is there a way, besides going to the doctor, to figure out like what our stress level is?
There's a lot of different things that you can do. Probably the most convenient is you can go online and we have a Holmes and Ray scale that you can go back to a year's amount of what's gone on in your life, and based on what has occurred you can count those off, and you develop a point system, and based on your total point accumulation determines more so less what your stress level is.
And that's just to give you an idea, a ballpark of how stressed you are and stuff like that.
Right, and it covers a variety of different things, not just the big ones like death of a spouse or something, but it can be like income, as well as birthdays, Christmas, and things like that.
Retirement, I saw that on the list too. I thought, and that's fairly high.
It is. I mean, retirement's a brand new way of living, and it's a stressful time for people, and if you don't plan for it appropriately, it can be stressful.
What are some of the ways that people tend to deal with stress?
Common ways are people, they overeat, they smoke, they drink, they get angry. And those are the distressful ways of dealing with stress. Other people exercise, other people do meditation, do yoga, read a book. One of the common things that I suggest to people is, what's a hobby that you have that you've really enjoyed doing, and when's the last time that you've actually done it? We don't make time for ourselves, and if you don't make time for yourself, stress is going to eat you up.
Is that the key then to stress management, time management?
Time management's big. I have a little process basically where you focus on the things that are important. If it's not important, you don't necessarily focus on it. If it's not relevant, you don't necessarily focus on it. But if it's relevant and important, then that's what you put your time and effort into.
Is it possible to change habits in responding to stress? Do you think sometimes those habits will stay, or do people tend to fall back into their old ways, the drinking, the smoking, the overeating, and that sort of stuff?
That's a very good question. The medical profession doesn't really believe that adults can change their ways, so they prescribe medications and things of that nature. I truly believe that you can unlearn behaviors, and if you replace that behavior that you unlearned with an appropriate and a more satisfying behavior, your likelihood of picking that up for the rest of your life is there. And I'm not saying that it happens every time, but there's a process to do it, and that's what we do at Phil Long with our program, is we try to change behaviors, not just Band-Aid over the issue.
Because it's not easy to change the triggers, is it?
No, triggers are out there. It's how you identify. First of all, you got to identify what's causing you stress, which is the trigger, and then how you deal with that trigger is really the solution to the problem. And if you deal with it in an inappropriate way, it again can lead to chronic diseases, and if you deal with it in an appropriate way, it's a eustressful situation, and it helps to enhance your self-esteem and your quality of life and the whole 9 yards.
So in all, a better you.
Yeah, stress is a killer, and we got to manage that, and if not, bad things can happen.
Excellent. Dr. Scott, thanks for coming in today. We're going to have more on as we wrap up our 12 Weeks to Wellness program next week.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Join us back next week.